Some of us have to.
Have your life. Have your life of being kind.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to the Murray City Municipal Council Committee of the Whole for August 5th, 2025. Our first agenda item is the Committee of the Whole minutes for July 1st, 2025. Do I have a motion and a second?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of July 1st, 2025.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. Okay, our first discussion item is up to date to the Fashion Place West Small Area Plan to a Station Area Plan. Mark Morris with VODA Landscape and Planning, and Chad Wilkinson presenting 15 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our consultant's not here. I was going to request if we could move to the next agenda item.
Oh, do you want to do, Jennifer, can we go ahead and do that?
It is your meeting.
Okay, then we're gonna put you in number 2. Is Zachary here to
I am
present?
covering for Zach.
Well, then we'll go with you then. Okay, so number 2, discussion on an ordinance amending section 17.08.020 and 17.68.030 and 17.68.040 and 17.68.060 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to landscaping requirements. Chad Wilkinson is presenting 15 minutes.
Thank you. Yeah, we're excited to be here. This has been a long time coming. This has been an effort that's been going on before I came back to Murray, and we're excited to be to this point in the effort. Let me get this to go over to our other screen here. Oops. Okay. Saw for a minute, then I left. Just briefly while I'm monkeying around with this, we've got in the audience tonight Aaron Frisk, who represents our water division of the Public Works Department, very involved in this amendment as well. This is really an amendment related to water conservation and specifically adopting standards that will allow for people to take advantage of the water savers, Utah water savers. It was there for just a second. Let me turn down flood back here. What this ordinance is, it really is about making some changes that will allow us to be eligible for these water savers programs, and specifically reducing the amount of turf.
Still good. That's why this is still plugged in.
You're right. Okay, there we
I
go.
have one month talking.
It was competing there, huh? Yeah, thank you.
What's the difference between flip your, what's it called?
Flip your strip.
Flip your strip and this particular?
So it's just a different program. This gives you some additional funding that's available to do more than just flip your strip. You can actually landscape more of your yard with this, additional incentive. Again, it's not a is that a no? Come on up, Aaron.
So the state's program will give you a $3 per square foot rebate incentive for converting your turf grass to xeriscape. So instead of doing flip your strip, residents will be able to apply for the Utah Water Savers Program.
So it's more money, right?
More money per square foot. You can do your whole lot if you want. If you wanted to xeriscape your lot, they don't have any restrictions like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they also have other programs as well. So if you also were to convert your planter area from a overhead spray to a drip system. So if you do a xeriscape program, they found that trees have been failing and dying from when they convert the water. They'll now give you a rebate up to 5 trees if they were to not make it through the xeriscape.
And are we going to let our citizens know that this is available?
Absolutely. So I've been wanting to see the kind of engagement we're gonna get through tonight. I've been talking with Central Utah Water Conservancy District, Jordan Valley Water Conservancy District. Those are the big districts that manage Utah Water Savers. So we will have a big kind of an educational night that we will promote with them. Hopefully we get some residents come out. We do have residents that are excited that we're gonna be
Yes,
on.
I know.
I have a few residents that have called me on this and
Yeah.
have pushed me for it, so that's why.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So before we get to that point though, we do have to change our ordinance to meet those standards. I'll just give, while Ben's working on this, I'll just give kind of a brief summary. There's two categories of changes that we're making. One is to our commercial standards. The commercial standards are a little bit different than the residential standards. When I say commercial, I'm also lumping in things like multifamily apartments. Those are in that same commercial category. Those require some reductions in the amount of turf. There's a maximum amount of lawn. There we go. Looks like we can see the fluffy up there, my little pet lynx or whatever that is. Awesome, thanks Ben. So, there's a few definitions, I'm not gonna go into much detail about this, but again, make some changes to our landscape submittal requirements. Some of these are cleanup items, we don't take formal paper copies anymore, so we need to change some of that to just reflect that we take in digital standard or digital plans now. This is an important change, not really, it doesn't have as much to do with the water wise, but we used to require 50% landscape bed coverage at the time of planting. We're gonna change that to maturity. If you do 50% at planting, it can be sometimes even too much, right? So we wanna make sure that, and that matches the Utah Water Savers program. It's not necessarily required though. So this is the piece that talks about our commercial standards. Again, one of the big things is you have to, if you're gonna plant turf, it has to be in an area that lawn and grass can survive, right? That's actually maintainable. So 8-foot minimum area. In the commercial areas, you can see that it can't exceed 20% of the total landscape area. There is an exception to that. That would be for active recreation areas. So think of a school. Think of that type of a use where you have people using a ball field. Those are the exceptions. Otherwise, 20%. You can't be planted on something that's too steep. One of the reasons, well, one thing, it's hard to maintain, but it also runs off, right? So we wanna avoid that. On the residential side of things, it changes a little bit. It's not exceeding 35% of the total landscape area for the front and side yards. That's an important distinction. There is an exception also here for small residential lots. Sometimes when you have a PUD or something with a smaller residential lot, if it's less than, total landscape area is less than 250 square feet, then there's a little bit of an exception there for some of those standards. So, and part of that is that landscape area is just so small at that point that some of these standards really would be hard to really administer in any case. So again, we feel like this is good. You guys have had the conversation that would have occurred right now already, which is this is a good recommendation for the community. This will be another option that people will have. I think there was a question that came up that I wanted to answer. I think Pam, you asked a couple weeks ago about whether this is mandatory or not. It is. It is mandatory for those new developments. So it's required if you're a new development. For people that are existing though, it would be a choice, right? They'd have a choice to make. But any new development would be required to meet these standards going forward. And there are certain things with commercial development, certain levels of redevelopment where these standards would be required as well. So if they do a certain level of redevelopment, they'd have to meet these standards as well. So with that, I'm happy to answer your questions. Aaron's here to answer questions too. He's already done a great job with the Utah Water Savers program.
I'm very
so-
excited for this. Some residents are very excited for this too. Ones that are on corner lots that will help them immensely. Thank you.
And we've already my understanding is we already ran this by the folks in
Yeah.
Jordan Valley.
I sent this over to Candace Schobel, who's the water conservation manager for the DNR, and she approved it. She said that you guys did a great job. Okay,
Yeah.
Great.
amendments, so.
I'm excited.
So I have one question. Cottonwood emailed or called about how it affects them, Cottonwood High School. What was that?
I'm not sure. Did that go to Zach? I don't know if I
Yeah,
saw
it's
it.
in the minutes from planning commission. It said that they received one phone call from Granite School District with questions regarding grass at Cottonwood High School.
Yeah, it wouldn't, as you
How
said,
would
they're exempt, if it's recreational grass,
Okay.
and they're existing, so there's two exemptions for them. Unless they do a massive redo of their campus, that would be when we'd have that conversation. We would hope that some of these partners, I'll just give you an example, when we looked at some of these things in Layton, some of those big developments actually were good partners and said, this makes total sense to us, let's just redo this right now. And we were able to reduce the amount of turf on some of those steep slope areas because of that. So a lot of times partners will just step forward, but yeah, they're exempt for two reasons right now, existing development and recreational grass.
Okay.
Do we have an enforcement built into this?
So with new development, the enforcement up front would be that as we approve that new development, the landscape plans would be approved by us, staff would approve those, so they'll have to meet those new standards. In the other cases where we talked about redevelopment of properties, that would be reviewed through either business license or the planning review through a conditional use permit, whatever the case may be. There is one other change that I didn't mention, and that is that in the past, we have not required landscape plans for single-family homes. We're gonna have to start doing that because of this requirement. Now, Murray doesn't see a lot of single-family homes, we're predominantly built out on that front, but when we do have those, they will have to provide us with a landscape plan so we can ensure they meet that standard.
Well, you have Trip Lane that is, so they'll have to follow this, correct?
follow
Not Trip Lane.
Yeah, anything that was approved
Okay.
previous to this ordinance won't have to.
Okay.
We'd love to have them, we'd
Yeah.
encourage them to, but yeah.
Yeah.
I
You gotta
can see
know all the-
NeighborWorks
All
doing that.
developers are
Yeah.
accustomed to these standards, because everywhere in Salt Lake Valley and a lot of Utah Valley
Yeah.
have adopted these.
Yeah, we're at the tail
That's
end.
what I was gonna say is,
We're
Which
the
is-
we're the last one,
We're the
right?
last ones in Salt Lake Valley, yes.
It's crazy. So we had one commissioner that voted no.
Yeah, there's a concern, and it comes up every place I've been where we've talked about this, about mandating what someone could do with their yard, right? So there was a concern that was expressed by that commissioner about feeling like this overstepped the bounds of what a city ought to be doing in terms of requiring instead of just making it voluntary. Because it is required for new development.
Good.
But then I was told, just rip it out and put your own stuff in there.
There are some good requirements for the Water Savers Program, and it doesn't just allow just rock, right? So that is one good thing. Landscaping is still required. Any other
Great.
questions?
Thank
No,
you so much.
I'm excited,
And
thanks.
there's a lot of other things coming down the pipe with our new partnership that we've been building with Central Utah Water Conservancy District that we're gonna be happy to share with you guys here soon. So,
Great,
Perfect.
thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Eric.
Bye, Aaron.
Bye-bye. Mark is good.
Okay, now we're up back to number 1 with the update to Fashion Place West Small Area Plan to a Station Area Plan. Mark Morris with Voda Landscape and Chad Wilkinson.
Thanks, yeah, I'm really happy to have Mark here tonight, happy to see him.
It's been a long time, Mark.
Yeah.
As you know, just as a brief introduction, the state requires cities that have fixed rail transit stations to adopt a station area plan. We've done one for Fireclay North already. I think it should, we're gonna plug this, there we go. That should pop up now. So we've been able to adopt one of these. We're working on some of the other ones. We're working on our central station. This is a kind of a unique, I think it'll just take a second. So this is a kind of a unique station area plan, and that we just recently did a small area plan in this area. We'll go and monkey with that before I talk about it.
There we go.
There we go. So we just did a small area plan a few years ago in this area. So really, in the case of Fashion Place West, it's more of an update of just making sure that there's a few things that the state has identified that we need to update or to include to make it compliant with state law. So Mark's gonna go through where we're at on this plan, kind of where we're going. This is gonna be a quick review, a quick planning process, a few months instead of half a year or a year, because we already have done so much of the work. So turn the time over to Mark Morris from Voda.
Great, good to see you all again.
Hi.
Like Chad mentioned, we have a small area plan that was adopted by the city in the first part of 2021. My team had worked with staff, elected officials, the public during 2020 to develop a small area plan. As Chad mentioned, the state recently has come down with some specific requirements of every city that has a fixed rail transit station. I understand you're already in the middle of some stationary plans for your other rail stations. The Fashion Place West small area plan, usually a small area plan is whatever the community determines it should be. Station area plan is very similar, but because the state has some specific requirements, we basically have till the end of the year to add to this small area plan, and we'll retitle it a station area plan. So for the most part, we have all of our bases covered. There are a few things that the state requires that we'll kind of focus our attention on. Their requirements are very much focused on implementation. And so they want to know in the next 5 years, what's going to happen, who's in charge of making that happen, what sort of assignments are going to be made. As you all know, the region is in the middle of a lot of development pressure, and so these particular locations around the valley is where a lot of that, there's an opportunity to do some very targeted planning to make sure that what's happening around the rail stations is, supportive of that service. This should be in your packet. I think Zach sent this to you. So this is kind of an overview of what those state requirements are. They've been in place for a couple of years. We have until the end of the year, as I mentioned, to get in compliance. The stationary plan itself is then adopted or sort of endorsed by the WFRC, UTA, will involve UDOT as a partner in the process as well. Again, it'll be quick, so when we come back to talk about the process and all of that, that adoption, hopefully you'll be familiar with what we're asking for. So we have a meeting with a steering committee of planning staff. We have a planning commission member who's in that group. If someone on the city council would like to sit in on those discussions as well, just so one of you has an understanding of what the small area plan entails, we can add one of you to that group as well. I think Diana's the only one in this group that was around in 21 when this was adopted. So this is a summary, well, this isn't a summary, this is the text from the House legislation that requires that. It's very focused on land use, transportation improvements. A lot of it puts the onus on the city to say, what are the infrastructure improvements that need to happen around the community, around that particular neighborhood, to make the access to the rail better for everybody. Look like you had a question, Adam. No, you're all good. Okay. One of the things that they say is it has to include a half-mile radius around the platform. This circle shows that half-mile radius. The colored in area is where that small area plan was applied, so we're gonna adjust the boundary a little bit. Some of these areas, things that are on the west side of I-15, those neighborhoods aren't gonna change in any way, and so we'll kind of tailor our half-mile radius to sort of recognize some immutable things like I-15 and rail corridor that wouldn't, we wouldn't be making land use recommendations in a place like that that's really on the other side of some of
Yes,
these areas.
part of this is my district.
Great, and we may have some specific questions for you as we get into it. We also are involving Midvale City. There's a little sliver on the south side that's in Midvale, and they've been involved in the discussions so far. The existing plan, I can have Zach send you a link to that plan that was adopted in 21. A lot of it was focused on housing. I'd say the housing concerns and issues from 2020 and 21 have only increased. And so housing will continue to be of concern. Connectivity, so things like transportation, infrastructure improvements, sidewalk improvements, bike lane improvements, those types of things. This plan also included some design guidelines that will continue to be in the plan. We had a very rough implementation plan. It didn't really make assignments like the state wants to see, and so we'll probably spend the majority of that time focused on, implementation. What are the things that are within the city's power to do? What are the things that the city's going to need a partner like UTA or UDOT to accomplish? What are the things that private property owners and all of those need to be dialed in to accomplish? UTA owns a good portion of land directly adjacent to the platform. There's a pretty large park and ride area. A lot of the discussion that we had around the implementation plan was about context. That context is very important in the planning world. What's appropriate next to a rail platform is not necessarily appropriate a half mile from a rail platform. And so really focusing on what is the scale that's appropriate in these areas. None of this is, I would say, gonna push anyone to do anything they don't wanna do. It's really saying, what are some carrots that we can give for UTA to develop, or to have something that would introduce development for the community that would be of a benefit. So this particular part of your city, it is very much focused around the community around it. You've got Fashion Place Mall, that is very much a regional draw. There are people coming from all over the valley to Fashion Place Mall. They are not coming to the Fashion Place West rail area. So the focus of the scale there would really be focused on what are the things that can improve that community, services, things that would be of a benefit there. But again, that scale would be wildly different from one part of the community to the other. So previously, that implementation plan had been kind of short-term, midterm, long-term. We'll keep that format, but we'll beef it up a bit to kind of say, okay, here are some very specific steps. The state will be expecting every 5 years a report back on each one of these station area plans. And so they want to see, okay, you told us in the next 5 years, here's what's going to happen. What's the report on what's happened, or why hasn't some of these things happened? Fortunately, a lot of the things in plans like this are policies, and so the city has all the power to look at what are your policies and what are they encouraging as far as walkability, livability in a community, investment in open space, investment in green spaces. All of those things are really in a city's purview to accomplish. UDOT, as you know, is a partner that can be difficult, and so I think when we talk to UDOT, making sure that we understand what motivates them and how do we do things that can improve the livability of the community, but also help UDOT improve what they're doing. During this previous process, we spent a lot of time talking with people who are working at the mall, people who were using the rail station. The biggest complaint we heard was, I work at the mall, I'd get off at the train station, that walk from the mall to the rail platform is less than half a mile, it feels like 10 miles. And that's because the infrastructure is not as good as it could be. And so I think the intent here is to say, what are some steps that we can take incrementally to improve, again, the livability of the neighborhood, meet the state's requirements, and think long-term about what are ways to improve the neighborhood. Anything else to add, Chad? Okay. So we'll be back. As Chad mentioned, this is gonna move along pretty quickly because we're really targeting a few very specific things. But again, that adoption process, we have to be done before the end of the year in order to meet that state requirement. But we're already most of the way there.
So thanks, Mark. Just as a preview, besides this one, we have 2 slivers just like Midville has that we're also required to adopt our sliver portion of that. There's one in Taylorsville and there's one in Mill Creek. So you'll see those will be very short processes because we have just tiny little bits of land that go into their half-mile circle. So with the adoption of Fireclay North, those 2 slivers, and this plan by the end of the year, we'll meet our statutory requirement, which will give us additional time to work on the biggest planning effort with the station areas, which is our platform-to-platform connection here adjacent to IH, so to IMC. So
That one doesn't have to be done by the end of the year?
as long as we get those other 4 adopted by the end of the year, then
Okay.
we have another year to finish
That's
that
good.
one up. Yep,
And we're in the process already on that one, right?
we are, yeah, we're quite a ways along. We've had phase 1, we're in phase 2 of that one now, so, yep. In fact, we had a meeting just the other day on that.
Yeah, the other
A couple of
meeting.
you attended, yep.
So for those of us who are new in the council, since you guys talked about this, I don't wanna get into the weeds, but how do we get information so we can get on the weeds on our own and then ask you questions?
I think that's great. I think Mark suggested, and we will follow up with this, Zach can send you a link to the small area plan. Like I said, with this particular planning area, the advantage we have is we've done a lot of the work that's required already and recently. So we will get that link to you so you can start to look at that plan. As we have continued effort on this new update, we'll keep you informed on what those updates are. And
Yeah.
and I think, as was stated by Mark, we'd love to have a counselor on that steering committee so you can be updated as well.
Yeah, I just saw a visual of a lot of high-density housing that I want to study, what you guys have talked about.
Sure, and in the document, you'll see again that context, we've kind of split up where things are appropriate versus where they may not be as appropriate. There's also a summary in the appendix of the public outreach. We did a public survey, we did some one-on-one discussions, but that's all in the document.
I'll take a look at that and then ask the appropriate questions.
Yeah, and the good news is that there was a lot of public participation in that effort before, so people are aware of what the plan was for that area, so.
Sure.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a surprise to the neighborhood what we're talking about.
Thank you.
And then who do you have to report to in December?
So we'll eventually have to have this adopted by the Wasatch Front Regional Council.
Okay.
Commission, excuse me. They'll approve it. I guess I'm not sure if it's called approve or
Right.
ratify or whatever they call it, but they'll have a chance
Okay.
to basically give their blessing on the work we've done. But the important part is that you all approve our portion of it by that December deadline. So,
Okay, thank you for the time, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Okay, we are on discussion item number 3. Discussion on an ordinance amending section 17.92.080 and 17.96.100 and 17.100.100, 17.107.100, 17.108.100, 17.112.100, 17.116.070, 17.120.070, 17.124.070, and 17.128.070 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to exemption into setback areas for all residential zone. Chad, you're presenting.
thank you. It will probably take me less time to explain this than it will take now to talk about this. This is actually a we're really.
Drink of water.
Yeah. The reason all those sections is we're amending all of our different residential zones to have the same standard, but this really comes down to a way for us to allow people to do more things with their property, which we think is a good thing. This is a request that we've received over the years to allow for some small extensions. I'm actually gonna go to the picture at the very end to begin with. I think it shows, this is the kind of thing that we're trying to allow. We have a lot of people that want to cover usable space in their backyard. This would be, covering a patio, covering a deck.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the type of structure that this ordinance is getting at. Now, with that in mind, I'll kind of show the parameters. There are impacts, of course, visual and other impacts to neighboring properties once you start to encroach into setbacks. So the standard as written, we have a 25-foot, in this case, 25-foot example, 25-foot setback in this example on both front and rear. What the proposal would be is to allow for some encroachments into that, up to half of the rear setback, but no closer than 10 feet, and up to 7 feet in front, but no closer than 20 feet. You can see by the size of those, the size of these additions are also regulated, just to make sure we don't have a huge visual impact. Again, understanding that we're going into that area that's typically been open. The other idea for this, in restricting this, is to make sure that we're not increasing that pervious or impervious surface too much. This kind of gives you an idea. It's up to half the width of the dwelling, so you can see that'd be the area that we use to calculate that half width is the cross-hatched area, with that addition being that dark area there that's shown on the picture.
Does the garage count for that width measurement?
It can, in this case it would, right? You've got a garage there. But it kind of, if it's a detached garage, no, but an attached garage, yeah, that could count towards that width at the back.
So hold on, I'll push on this. So on this example, you're not using it in the front yard. That counting it for the width.
That shows it being counted for counting the garage.
You didn't count the garage in
It
the
looks like
front.
maybe on that when they put the drawing together, they didn't count it, but you could count that.
Okay.
Yeah, that width. Let me go back to the actual language. So here's the standard. It has to be no more than 1 story in height, which is what that photo in the very end showed. It can't be more than half the width of the main dwelling. It has to be unenclosed, so it's not a way for us to increase that, livable area for the residents. It's just, these are really just covers for canopies, covers for patios, covers for decks. The type of footing and foundation is even called out. It's gotta be just a spot footing or someplace where you'd have a column resting. It can't be a continuous footing or foundation. And then, again, it can't be any closer than 20 feet in the front and no closer than 10 feet in the rear.
Yeah.
So this was reviewed by the planning commission. They did unanimously recommend the city council approve this amendment. And again, this is one, we do get these requests occasionally, quite a bit actually, for people to be able to cover some of these decks and things that are already allowed, patios. We think this is a good way for us to allow people to do more with their property, and we'd recommend that the council follow the planning commission's recommendation.
So the sides have to be open.
Yes, it has
Could
to
they be like partially, like you build like a half wall?
It has to be, let me read that exact text for you, it has to be entirely open on three sides except for supporting columns. So
So what about like some people put up like mosquito net or something like that, that it kind of encloses it, or glass?
entirely open, yeah.
Entirely
Yeah,
open.
we're not talking about those kind of, what do you wanna call that, a
Sunroom.
sunroom.
Yeah.
This is just for covering those kind of typically, outdoor kind of uses like decks and patios, yep.
So would sunroom fall under a different law then?
Sunrooms would just be in addition to the home, they'd have to meet the setbacks for the home and.
I'm not
So,
liking this.
okay,
Yeah.
so I saw somebody's deck, I was at her house the other day. They had, so it's pretty much a half wall because they have like a TV on one side, they have like a grill on the other side. But it's open and then you have the third, so would that be acceptable under this code?
So what, I'm not exactly sure I'm following you, you've got like part of the wall that comes down off the ceiling or what? are you
Yeah.
talking about?
So yeah, it comes down from the ceiling, but there is opening for the rest of the deck, so it's kind of like half a wall. Does that make sense?
I
Do
think
you want me
so.
to draw
I
it?
think I follow you now.
Here we go.
Feel free to
We're
draw.
drawing.
I think you're right.
I've got a yellow marker,
Yellow
nobody's
marker.
gonna see
Come on,
this.
teacher. Impress us.
So, oh my, yeah, you can't see this. Do
That's pretty fine.
I have a different marker?
There's a blue.
There's a blue? Oh, that's better. This is why, okay, so you have the housing structure right here, you still can't see this. And then there was a wall, pillar, wall. So this part's open, 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 but there are small walls here, and this is the back of the house. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
It does.
Okay.
The idea is, as I described, this type of a cover. So not, a partial cover or something. It is supposed to be open on three sides. And the reason for that is that keep in mind, we are encroaching on a neighboring property, right? We're allowing that structure now to go within 10 feet of the neighbor's property line. So we wanna be careful about what types of structures we're approving there.
Does it have to be attached to the house?
This is for attached
Farmington.
structures, yeah.
So what if it's not attached?
If it's not attached, it falls into the accessory structure
Okay.
standards of the code, yep.
So if you don't encroach within this 10-foot or whatever area, it could be just a regular, like supposing this right here was like 40 feet from the neighbor's yard. But could he still do that?
Oh, they could do all kinds of things if it was 40 feet. They could enclose it, they could do sunrooms. You have a minimum setback of 25 feet in most of our residential zones. So
Anything-
if you're that far away, you can do all kinds of things
Whatever
in
you
that
want.
space, yeah. This is for those instances where we have someone their home was built at that minimum setback, and they just wanna have a reasonable extension into there for this covered space to cover a deck or a patio.
So this will help people with smaller yards,
That's
right?
right. Yep.
Say, I wanna cover my yard, but
Yep.
I can't right now.
That's right.
Okay,
That's a good clarification.
yeah, that makes more sense
Yep.
now that way.
Good.
I'm a little dense, so I appreciate you repeating it a few times.
Yeah, I was with you, Paul. So that's good clarification. So it's just when they're getting up to that 10 feet that this applies.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay.
Because I just looked at a satellite photo of my yard and my patio cover may be longer than half of it. my house, you know, so like, I don't wanna take down that cover.
Remind me where you're trying
I was
to.
gonna say, can you say code enforcement?
You know where I live. I got my
That's
permit
that's
still.
about point, what about existing? I mean,
I got my
You got
permits.
permits, you're probably.
If
Yeah,
there's
I'm
permits that have
permitted.
been issued, yeah, that's
Yeah.
existing.
I made sure of that.
And keep in mind that there are different setbacks for different residential zones, so this just, it could be that you have a different setback. I haven't looked at your property. but-
Don't look at it.
now,
I got a permit.
I love that. I love that.
Messing with me.
You know, most of it the setbacks. I don't have anything else to say unless you have any questions.
I don't think anybody else wants to say anything.
You answered my question.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
This will come at next meeting for adoption.
Who knows where that will
Okay,
go.
our last discussion item is discussion number 4 on the fraud risk assessment. Brenda Moore presenting 5 minutes. Thank you, Brenda, for being here.
I didn't bring a screen of the fraud risk assessment, but we do this every year. Part of the state auditor got tired of mostly small cities and counties, all being in the news because somebody committed a fraud. So they, instituted this fraud risk assessment, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. We need to just bring it before council. It just signs everything in point system. We are at 355 and 395, which means our risk of fraud is very low, which is anything 355 and above. We have internal controls, basic separation of duties. We have enough people that somebody balances the bank that does not handle cash, all of that kind of thing. We also have policies on everything that they have listed, procurement, behavior, for a way to report, travel, credit cards, personal use of our assets, all of those things we have policies about. I am a CPA, Emily just became a CPFO, so we have 2 people that have those qualifications now.
That's awesome.
And both Emily, I think Scott have college degrees, so does our treasurer, bachelor's degrees, I have a master's. So we don't require all employees in the city to sign that they will follow our code of ethics. I require all of the department heads and anyone in my office that handles cash or deals with customers to acknowledge once a year that they will abide by our city's code of ethics. I think Jennifer has you guys attest to that. And then after this election, we will make sure that everybody on the council has watched the state auditor's training for council members. It's actually a pretty good video. I watched it just because I am on a board of somebody else, and they said, "Have you watched this?" Yes, I have. So we're not perfect in this just because we're not big enough to have enough money to have a formal internal audit function. Our auditor reviews our internal controls and stuff. That's not anything necessary. We do have the budget committee, but they're not a formal audit committee with 5 or 6 or 10 people on it that does that. Those 2 things I don't feel are necessary with our annual audit and his review of our internal controls, and then our knowledge in the office of what needs to be done. So we're at a very low risk level, and I have just discussed it. Does anybody have any questions?
I don't, I think it looks great.
I know city council has the authority to ask for audits to happen, right?
Yeah.
If we were to create a regular audit of departments in the city, would that count as a formal function?
Probably it could be a formal internal audit thing, but it depends on what you want to audit, and why you would wanna audit it. So, yeah, I mean, it possibly could count. We're already at the highest of the risk levels of very low. Any additional points won't change anything, so. But that's not the reason to do it, to have other audits. So,
Thank you.
Any other comments? It's a glowing report. Thank you, Brenda.
Awesome.
Okay, is there any other items for the council meeting of the whole? If not, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming, everyone.
Evening. All right, everybody hear me? All right, welcome to the Murray City Council meeting, August 5th, 2025. And we have all 5 council members, GL, the mayor, Brooke, and Jennifer, not in any kind of special order. And so first of all, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and Miss Leanne Parker Reed has agreed to lead us in that. There she is. I didn't see her for a second there. I wear my glasses.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Thank you so much for that. Okay, first item is we're going to approve the minutes from council meeting July 1st, 2025. Do I have any kind of motion on that, or
I have an issue.
you have an issue?
Yes.
Of course.
I need to, I motion to change the spelling of Russ Kakala's name. We put double K in there, capitalize both Ks, so we just need to adjust it to a second lowercase. Because we care about Russ. That's why
Yeah, that's a good catch.
it looks better.
Thank you, Mr. Hawk. What's the process for that?
So I'll just make that motion.
Okay.
Yeah, I motion to
For a second.
change.
Okay.
So I motion to change Russ Kakala's name to second is a lowercase k.
I'll second that.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Or-
Yeah,
Aye. Okay.
aye.
All right. All right, next up, citizen comments. Comments, just say it.
We gotta do the whole minutes now.
The whole minutes?
We just approved the change. Now we have to approve all the minutes.
Oh, approve all the minutes with the change.
Yep.
Right? Okay, all right, so, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes
So there you go. I will
with the
motion,
change.
yes, I will motion to approve the minutes as amended for the July 1st, 2025 meeting.
I'll second.
Awesome. And then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're good now. All right, next up, citizen comments. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Step up to the microphone, state your name and city of residence, and fill out the required form. Patty has that back there. She's back there in the back, waving her arm. Now is your time, please.
Tell her to turn on that microphone.
Excuse me, ma'am, can you turn on the microphone? I don't think it's on. Little green light.
On the top, where it says power.
Green light's on?
Oh, the
Okay.
green
Maybe it's just,
Oh, there you go. Thank you. 1 a.m. in the morning, we had 2 women of the night come to collect their money. So they've been giving these people my address. I just sent Pam a notice where I just posted again as we are the people that sold some of these iPods from Lake Powell. I haven't been there in 25 years, but they're blasting that on Facebook now. So there's still issues and I need help. Thank you.
thank you.
My name is Lawrence Horman. Some of you know me, some of you don't. It's been a while since I've been here. I've been trying to figure out what I was going to say when I come up here. And only 3 words keep on repeating in my mind. I give up. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I've been fighting to get simple basic necessities for myself, for my animals, and to use my own story, my own life, the things that are going on as an example so that nobody else has to lay their dignity out to get the simple basics of life. I give up. The programs, they don't work. The organizations, they don't care. The agencies only go so far as some little bit of money might let them. If I make any money outside of the disability that I'm on, what I have gets taken away. I got tired of waiting for programs to provide me homes, so I made my own. And now I'm told it's illegal unless I'm doing something productive. Those of you who know me and know where I live know that I have been productive in keeping the crime rate down, and I am not bragging when I say this, and I'm not attempting to. I'm not looking for a pat on the back. I have made the crime rate in my area reduce. I have kept it down through efforts not exclusively my own, but I have done a large part, in my opinion. Correct me if you think I'm wrong. I went and I fought for months back and forth over the past several years. I've been in that trailer for 10 years, and I fought to do the simplest things, get the simplest thing, like a little bit of power, so I can refrigerate my food so that I don't waste food and I don't have to buy food fresh, made by somebody else every day at a far more expensive rate than I should have to. I haul my own water in, I haul my own sewage out, and I apologize, I don't mean to make anybody disgusted by making those statements, but it's a literal fact. I haul my trash in and out in order to pay rent. I pay rent for the privilege of managing that lot as the on-site manager, so that I have a purpose, so that the city has reason to see me being there as having a purpose. And yet I can't get the simplest things. I give up.
My name is Dylan Barney. I have lived in Murray for a fair amount of time, but the comments I'd like to make today is I'd like to thank those responsible for cleaning up and cutting down the weeds on property owned by the redevelopment agency in Murray. It makes the property look more attractive, and it reduces the fire hazard in this particular area. So I'd like to thank the mayor, the council members, and especially those that did the hard work of cleaning the weeds up and cutting things down on hot days like we've been having lately. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll go ahead and close the citizen comments part. So there's no special recognition, no consent agenda, and we'll start with the public hearings. Let's see, so the first one is consider an ordinance adopting transfer of monies from enterprise funds to other city funds. Brenda will be presenting for that.
So tonight we're here to do a public hearing. Whenever we transfer funds or property from enterprise funds to the general fund, we need to have a public hearing and announce the purpose and then get approval from you guys. The property in question is up on Jensen Lane. It's a portion of a lot that we bought, I'm not even sure how many years ago, that we purchased because it flooded all the time. Stormwater is now going to put a retention pond on a portion of the property The rest of the property is going to be surplused, we hope, if you approve that. So we're going to transfer the rest of that property to the general fund to then surplus it and use it in a transaction to get some more parking for the Murray Theater. So the first thing we need to do is have a public hearing on the transfer of that property. No cash will be exchanged in this. It's just the property going from the enterprise fund to the general fund, or in this case, the CIP fund, which is essentially the general fund. So it'll go from an enterprise fund to the government, and then we'll do the rest of the steps to complete the 1082 analysis and public hearing on that later. So that's what this is. No cash. There will be a budget opening because it will show as a decrease in the assets of the stormwater fund, but it's not actual cash, and we will show the CIP fund receiving this piece of property. So.
All right, thanks, Brenda. Then we open for comment. Okay, now we'll open it for comments for public hearing. For same rules apply. 3 minutes. Step up to the microphone, state your name and city of residence, fill out the required form. And looks like no comments, so we'll go ahead and close the public comments on this item. And yep. Anybody on the council have any questions? No? Okay, awesome. Okay, great. Mr. Pickett, did you? Okay, just getting ready to vote. Okay, all right. We have to do a motion. Yeah, I'll entertain a motion to for this first item.
I make a motion to approve an ordinance adopting the transfer of monies from enterprise funds to other city funds.
I will second it.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Brooke, will you run the vote?
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Mr. Hawk.
Aye.
Mr. Pickett.
Aye.
Ms. Cotter.
Aye.
Mr. Goodman.
Aye. All right, looks like the ayes have it. All right, moving on to the second item, consider a resolution declaring the property located at approximately 440 West Jensen Lane, Murray City, Salt Lake County, State of Utah, as surplus, and approving the conveyance of said property for less than appraised value based on findings pursuant to Section 10-8-2 of the Utah Code. Chad Wilkinson is presenting.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Let me just do some plugging in here. The item that we just voted on will probably make a lot more sense once we describe what's going to happen in this next item. So, we come back, there we go, we're there. Okay, so as was said, this is a required public hearing, required by state law for us to hold a public hearing they call it a 1082 analysis, that's the section of state code. And the reason for that is to consider surplusing some property. I'm going to describe a little bit about why we're considering this. This is the property that we're considering surplusing. This is the property that was just described by Brenda in her presentation. This is what you've just transferred this from the enterprise to the CIP, which now allows you to consider surplusing this property as part of the consideration we're going to talk about. So as Brenda said, it's there on Jensen Lane. You can see Cherry Street, that big white with the boxes on it, that's Lowe's just to the north. This is the property that we're considering surplusing. It's a portion of that property, not the whole thing. As Brenda had indicated, this was purchased as a part of a plan to build a stormwater detention facility to handle some of the stormwater in this general area. We've looked at this property and don't need the entire property to accommodate that storm drain, that storm detention facility. So the remainder of that property is available for us to consider for surplus. And why are we considering this for surplus? This is a property that the city has been working to acquire. As you can see, this is just, I'll give you a little context. The Murray Theater just sits to the west of this property. The city owns two properties that are just adjacent to this property on either side, to the west and east of this property. But this is the last property that we need to acquire in order to acquire that entire area to the east of Murray Theater. That's property that we've been trying to acquire as a city to accommodate some additional parking to support the Murray Theater that'll be opening very soon. So this has been something that we've been working on for a little while, and we've been working with a really good property owner. That property owner is a willing seller. He's wanted to cooperate with the city in selling his property. His dilemma, though, was that he needed a place to go. He needed some place to move his business. And as we started to look at the market rate for properties in the valley, the replacement cost for something similar to this was much, much higher than the appraised value that we'd had for the property when we did that a couple of years ago. So we started to look at other options. One of the options was to see if there were other properties that the city already owned that could accommodate his use, and we did find one that would work for him. And that's the property that we just looked at on that previous screen right there. So this property is zoned industrial, works well. It's a plumbing business that's located there on Vine Street right now. This would work well for him. It's a little bit bigger than his current property, so it works well for him. So, again, part of what we need to do as part of this process is we need to declare this surplus, and we need to go through this 1082 analysis. This shows you what the state code requires us to consider. There's fiscal, public benefit analysis. We need to do things that show that this is in the best interest of the city and consistent with state and public law, or state and city law. So here's a couple of findings that we made. I won't read all of the words there, but first of all, we want to use the parking for Murray Theater. This would be a support for Murray Theater. This is a significant investment that the city's made in Murray Theater. We want to make sure we have some parking to support that. We have, again, already purchased the properties on either side, so this makes complete sense for us to try to get this property to close that gap and be able to build a cohesive parking area. And it's also supporting local business retention. This is going to give us an opportunity to take this existing business, move them someplace else in Murray, and keep them as part of our business and tax base for the city. So, oops. As we look at oh boy, it doesn't want to stand on that one, does it? There we go. So as we look at the fiscal benefits for this particular surplus, again, as we looked at these prices, we had comparable properties anywhere from a tenth of an acre to half an acre, which is quite a bit bigger. Half an acre is quite a bit bigger than the subject property, but those were appraising at around 1.3 million median price. We looked at some recent comps. It was between 1 and 1.7 million for comparable properties. What the Murray offer is to this property owner is to pay $600,000 in cash, plus the conveyance of that piece of property that we showed. That has been appraised at 390, so that total value of that is 990. Still well below what we've seen as far as comparables for that type of a purchase. And again, this allows us to acquire the land below that cost that would require us to get him a replacement parcel. Again, those are some more findings: prosperity, convenience, safety, order, and comfort. I won't go through each of those in detail, but those are the findings that we need to make as part of the state law analysis. Again, this is an important component of this significant investment that we've made in the Murray Theater. This will allow us to create some surface parking in the immediate future, and potentially look at some structured parking even in the future as we go forward with plans for downtown. With that, we are recommending that this proposed conveyance offers those measurable and intangible benefits that we're supposed to require, or that we're supposed to analyze as part of state law. It's going to support downtown revitalization, all the things that are there on the screen. And we are recommending that the council hold a public hearing and then approve this surplusing of this property. And I'm happy to answer any questions if I can.
Thanks, Chad. We can go ahead and open the public comments. Same rules apply. Comments limited to 3 minutes. Step up to the microphone, state your name and city residence, fill out the required form, please. Okay, doesn't look like there are any. I'll go ahead and close public comments. Council, do you have any questions for Chad?
I have one. Do we have a timeline of, if approved, demolition to when it should be available for parking?
Yeah, so we have a contract right now, subject to approval by you. There's a due diligence period, and that part of that due diligence is that this is subject to your approval of this transaction. We had the original due diligence period runs 60 days to give us time to do these kind of things. Then we'll have an additional 60 days to closing. That's the maximum time that would be 120 days total. So that's the longest it would take before the city would again close on the other property, and then we would transfer this property over to the other property owner. That would enable us again, and again, it's been a good property owner to work with. They're willing to make accommodation to get themselves out of that other building as quickly as they can, move to some temporary locations while they construct a new structure at this Jensen Lane property. So, yeah, the longest it would be before we would close would be 120 days from the time that we signed that agreement, which was in July.
I just want to make a comment. It's amazing how the planet's kind of aligned on this. I mean, we had these two buildings for the property owner in between who wants to move, who, by the way, we have a property for, and we get to keep them in Murray all at the same time. Wow. I mean, it's almost like it's on purpose, but I mean.
And I want to give some credit to just the collaborative effort of staff to find
Yeah.
solutions. And again, we've talked about the willingness of the seller, been a great seller to work with. But we've also had, as we've explained the problem to various city staff, we've looked for options. I can tell you that this was one that our planner, Zach Smallwood, said, well, have you thought about this property? And that was one we hadn't thought of yet. And as we worked with our Public Works folks, they've been very willing to work through this, because there are some issues we need to still work through, the detention basin and things. But all of us have been really working hard to make this happen because it is so important to our downtown.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you.
And I'm very excited about this. Being on the board for the opening of the theater, that is one thing that we've talked about quite a bit, is whereas the citizens or the people that come into Murray to come to the theater, where are they going to park? And now we have our answer. And thank you for getting this done. We appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, anything else? Everybody good? Okay, I'll go ahead and I'll entertain a motion.
I would like to make a motion, the resolution declaring the property located at approximately 440 West Jensen Lane, Murray City, Salt Lake County, State of Utah as surplus, approving the conveyance of said property for less than appraised value based on finding pursuant to Section 10-8-2 of the Utah Code.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Brooke, will you take us through?
Ms. Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Hawk.
Aye.
Mr. Pickett,
Aye.
Ms. Cotter,
Aye.
Mr. Goodman.
Aye. All right, ayes have it. Motion pass. All right, on to number 3. Consider resolution waiving police and fire protection fees for the Murray Chamber of Commerce for an event known as Murray Area Chamber of Commerce Hot Air Balloon Palooza, beginning September 19th, 2025, and running through September 21st, 2025, to be held at the Cottonwood High School. Jennifer Kennedy is presenting.
Thank you. During the budget, as you know, we did have some applications for fee waivers. Most of those we were able to include in the budget and pass with the budget. We did have a couple that we were waiting for a little bit of additional information. We've got that information now, so we're going to bring these to you tonight. The first is for the Murray Area Chamber of Commerce for their Hot Air Balloon Palooza. They're asking for police and fire services, and their event is September 19th through 21st at Cottonwood High School. And I believe Kathy White is here if you have questions for her. I told her she could speak during public comments if she wanted to. So I can answer any questions or you can have her answer.
All right, thanks, Jennifer. And we'll go ahead and open it for citizen comments. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Step up to the microphone, state your name and city of residence, and fill out the required form, please.
Hello, Kathy White, Chamber of Commerce, also live in Murray. And so, yeah, I would just love for the city to support us with the waiver of the fire and the police fees for the Hot Air Balloon Palooza. So if you guys went there last year, it was a very popular event. We had over 6,000 people throughout the weekend. And coming again, September 19th through the 21st at Cottonwood High School. So it'll be a lot of fun. That's the whole intention, is make it fun. So, any questions for me?
Are you the president of the chamber now?
Pam? I am the interim president of the Chamber of Commerce. Matt Gibbons has resigned, so I'm the interim president.
Thank you.
Good.
Okay, any other comments about this item? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the citizen comments. Council, do you have any questions? I have a question, but I don't think the person, maybe Mr. Hill would know. So the police and fire, will that be covered on straight time or overtime? As far as how we're gonna pay these guys? Because I saw the number of hours they're gonna be needed, but I don't know if that's gonna be just their regular schedule time or it's gonna be overtime.
Yeah, so for the fire department, since they work 24-hour shifts, 7 days a week, it'll
Right.
just be part of their regular shift.
So you
But
won't
with-
have to bring anybody
Right.
else on?
But in the case of the police officers, it'll be overtime. They'll
Okay.
be asked to stay later or outside of their normal shift because police department doesn't want to give up their patrol coverage while this is going on.
Oh, yeah, I get it, yes, okay, thank you.
Do we know how much it's going to be, Doug?
I have that number right here.
Yeah.
For police, it's 3,798, and it's considered in kind, and fire will be between 2,000 and 4,000, depending on how Joey staffs.
Thank you.
All right.
I would like to make a comment. I think it's a great use of our police and fire. I think it's a positive PR. It gets them out in the community, and so I'm very supportive of this.
All right, anybody else? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
A motion to approve the resolution waiving police and fire protection fees for the Murray Chamber of Commerce for an event known as the Murray Area Chamber of Commerce Hot Air Balloon Palooza beginning September 19th, 2025 and running through September 21st, 2025 to be held at the Cottonwood High School.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a first and a second. Brooke, will you take us through it?
Ms. Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Hawk,
Aye.
Mr. Pickett,
Aye.
Ms. Cotter,
Aye.
Mr. Goodman.
Aye. All right, ayes have it, resolution passes. Move on to the next item, consider resolution waiving golf cart fees for Murray Education Foundation on August 22nd, 2025 at the Murray Parkway Golf Course for a charity golf tournament. Jennifer Kennedy presenting.
So exactly what Scott said. This is to waive golf fees for the Murray Education Foundation for their golf tournament they're having on August 22nd. This is something historically we have done through the years. And I think, yes.
Yep.
Yes, Doug Perry is here if you want to ask him any questions, or he can speak during public comment, or if you have any questions for me, I can answer those.
I have a question. Is it just cart fees or is it green fees also?
Just cart fees.
And I'm sure you have the dollar amount on that too. No? What?
I don't know what the cart fees are. I think it's like $40 for 2 people per cart.
If I remember right, it's about $4,000.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we'll go ahead.
Hold on. Continuing my line of questioning. It's 4,000 for the carts. If we did green fees also, how much, what does that change? I'm asking you to do math off the top of your head there, Kim.
Mean.
Okay. Doug, Doug's got it.
Doug's got it.
Well, I don't want to step in front of you, Kim. Do you want to take this one? So the cost of the golf course to have a tournament like this is about $9,000 by the time you take the money that you could have generated had you opened it up to the general public. So, but the cost to the chamber is, or to the Murray Education Foundation is not that much. So I think our green fees are right around like $62, and that's both green fees and cart. So if you have 100 players approximately, I think they'll probably have a little bit more than that, 120 players. You're probably looking at $6,000 to $8,000.
Real quick,
Oh.
can I?
Oh, yeah.
Doug, will you just mention a little bit about our plans in the future that we're going to be presenting to the council about fees from the school district, fees from Murray City? We go back and forth and have fee here, back and forth. Almost equals out with everything because we're charging each other. So we've been discussing with Jennifer Covington, the superintendent.
Yeah, so the city and the school district have an interlocal agreement, have had for many years, probably for 40 years, that addresses the mutual use of facilities. So the city uses many of the school district facilities, their gymnasiums, their fields for soccer, and the school district does not charge the city for the use of those facilities. And in return, the city has a number of facilities that the school district uses, such as the Ken Price Ball Field and the soccer fields. And we do not charge them for the use of the facilities as well. But that agreement was modified a few years ago to where some of these specific types of costs, like the golf tournament, the use of the auditoriums for technicians and things like that, were not addressed in the agreement. And so that's why you've been getting these kind of special requests from the school district for something like this, because they're not specifically addressed in the interlocal agreement that we've had in the past. So to the mayor's point is that we are working with the school district, with the superintendent right now, to look at that agreement again and look at all of the uses that are occurring both on city property as well as school district property, and seeing if we can't equalize those so that it's a win-win situation for both the city and the school district. So we plan to come to you here in the near future with an amended interlocal agreement that will help fix some of these issues.
Okay, so we haven't had public comments yet, so I'll go ahead and open it for public comments. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Step up to the microphone, state your name and city of residence, and fill out the required form, please.
Doug Perry from Murray Education Foundation. Didn't really have much to say other than thank you, and thank you for working with us for many, many years. I mean, this is the 27th year of our golf tournament. We've raised funds to the tune, I think, of $500,000 over the years, and so that's had a big impact on our schools. And at a time like this, when budgets are being slashed and we just don't know from one month to the next what funding sources we're going to have, it really is a meaningful impact for the foundation to be able to come in and offer these additional funds for field trips, classroom materials, and other things that impact kids so much in the Murray area. So we really appreciate your support for this program, as well as the interlocal agreement that we've been working on with the city. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments? I'm not seeing any. I'll go ahead and close public comments. Turn over to the council. Any last questions, comments? No?
I have I'll make a motion. I'm going to motion to adjust the resolution to include green fees and cart fees.
Okay.
So what would the total be?
About 9,000.
About 9,000.
9,000 to run the whole course.
I second it. This is for the kids.
Okay, I have a first and a second. Brooke, will you take us, well, do we need to?
We might want to debate the motion. There might be some contrary opinions.
Yeah, are you feeling that?
This is a tough issue, because now you've said, let's support the kids, but in reality, if you vote against it, you're the mean person, right? But where's the money coming from? It's coming out of the pockets of the residents of Murray who are paying taxes that we pinch every penny possible, and now we're going to go, oh, let's give $9,000 away. We need to be responsible. We're not a bank that just open up and throw out money. Every penny comes from our taxpayers. Pam, you always talk about, you think about those people on fixed, incomes, how we want to save in property taxes. We didn't raise property taxes this year, which we should have, 2.5%, because it was $40 a month or $40, something like that, because that was too much money. And now we're talking about giving away an extra X amount of money just on a whim like this. We can't go by feelings all the time. We have to go by our data, our numbers, our finances. If we have money set aside for this, fine and dandy, let's do it. If not, if we're gonna have to dip into a savings, or we have to pull from somewhere else, I think we seriously consider not doing this.
But I would have to say that, yes, you're correct, that it is the taxpayers' money, but also the taxpayers are also looking for some kind of relief when they put their child into school, that they will be able to have those extra field trips or a box of crayons or something that parents cannot afford. And we're supplying that through this golf tournament. Paper, whatever they need, whatever those children need. We can ask Brenda if we have that extra money somewheres, and we could put this to the side, what do you think, council?
I would say, number one, it's an in-kind donation, so there's no money transferring. The second thing is, I think that would actually, when we work with the school district, it saves our taxpayers money, because all we're doing is if we charge the school district, they have to increase their taxes, or if they charge us, we have to increase our taxes. If we just give it in kind, it keeps both of our tax base low, instead of one being the bad guy in the process or the bad person. So I think this is a way to keep both of our costs low.
We have just lost, though, in the green fees for that day, or the cart use for that day. So there's a loss to the city somewhere in there, even if it is in kind.
But we gain it back in other things that we do at the school district. When we don't pay to use Hillcrest Junior and Parks and Rec, that's where we're not paying, and it balances itself out. I think as we've done the analysis over the last few weeks, considering this interlocal agreement, if we just trade services back and forth between the school district and ourselves, it comes out as a wash, and neither one of us has to pay each other, and it's all equal. Like, we're pretty close, we're close enough that it's negligible.
It still has a $9,000 value, and it's not something we had considered. It kind of has come out of left field, and so that's my concern. I'm wondering if, we shouldn't consider next year doing this, but I'm kind of uncomfortable with increasing it that much this year.
Yeah, can we just approve it the way it's written now, and then once the interlocal agreement's done, then we'll be done with it at that point, and it'll be more apples and apples. You good with that, Paul?
Yeah, I think if we can look at it more carefully.
Yeah.
I might be something I would vote for. And is there any way to withdraw the motion so we don't have to vote on this?
Yeah, and then go back to the original item?
I don't know.
No, we've got a motion and a second. We have to vote on it.
As I seconded.
Yeah, it won't be a fair vote.
Okay, yeah, so how do we, and then we have to go back and revisit it, right?
Yeah, the way to do it is I'd have to withdraw the motion, is how I'd have to do it.
Okay.
Because we haven't voted yet.
Because you haven't voted.
Right.
Okay.
So now the question is, am I going to withdraw it?
I'm just looking at you and saying, would you like to withdraw the motion, or would you like to go forward with it?
I will withdraw the motion.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, I'll entertain a new motion for this item.
I would like to make a motion to the resolution waiving golf cart fees for the Murray Education Foundation on August 22nd, 2025 at the Murray Parkway Golf Course for a charity golf tournament.
I'll second.
Okay, we have first and second. Brooke, will you take us through it?
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hawk?
Aye.
Mr. Pickett?
Aye.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Mr. Goodman?
Aye. Okay, the ayes have it. Resolution passes. All right, first business item, consider a resolution in support of America 250 Utah and recognizing and approving the Murray City Utah 250 Community Committee. Rowan Coates presenting.
Hello.
Sorry, I'm short. So next year is the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. We're having a national celebration run by America 250. Utah has its own kind of subsect of America 250, and it's America 250 Utah. And in order to participate and receive a stipend from America 250 Utah, the first step is to pass a resolution confirming that we have a committee. So I would like to read that resolution, and then I'm happy to answer any questions. So a resolution in support of America 250 Utah and recognizing and approving the Murray City Utah 250 Community Committee. Whereas Governor Spencer J. Cox and the Utah State Legislature created the America 250 Utah Commission, also known as America 250 Utah, and whereas the mission of America 250 Utah is to commemorate, celebrate, and reflect on our nation's past, build community, and look toward the future by educating, engaging, and uniting Utahns and visitors to our state. And whereas America 250 Utah is seeking partnerships with counties and municipalities to further its mission, and whereas a partnership between Murray City and America 250 Utah will be formed by creating a local committee called the Murray City Utah 250 Community Committee, and whereas the Murray City Utah 250 Community Committee will focus on important events, people, and places within Murray to commemorate and celebrate Murray's role in America's 250th anniversary. And whereas local projects will enhance tourism, community building, and economic development opportunities. Now therefore be it resolved by the Murray City Municipal Council that Murray City, 1, will partner with America 250 Utah, 2, hereby recognizes the Murray City Utah 250 Community Committee as its official committee, 3, will support signature programs of the America 250 Utah Commission, and 4, will support the Murray City Utah 250 Community Committee in its local efforts to educate, engage, and unify Utahns and our visitors in Murray. It's a bit of a mouthful, but thank you. If you have any questions.
Rowan, I attended the meeting today at noon on Google Meet.
Yes.
They discussed this, and I'm pretty impressed at what's happening.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty impressed at what will happen as a result of this. So I'm a supporter of this resolution.
Any other questions?
Other questions? Okay. All right, go ahead and entertain a motion.
I'll motion to approve the resolution in support of America 250 Utah and recognizing and approving the Murray City Utah 250 Community Committee.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a first and second. Brooke, will you take us through it?
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hawk?
Aye.
Mr. Pickett?
Aye.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Mr. Goodman?
Aye. All right, ayes have it. All right, moving on, mayor's report. And
Thanks, Scott.
welcome.
I love it. Steve Olson was here, he looked at, he came in over in the kitchen, he says, do you mind if I leave? I have a daughter opening her mission call, and I says, oh my heck, get home. Are you kidding me? He was gonna stay for this information here, but I said, no, go home. So the fire department took delivery of the new ambulance today, the 4x4 ambulance that they were waiting for. And it is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. This will be something that will be strengthen our emergency response capabilities, built to respond in all kinds of terrain. The vehicle allows for 3 to 4 medics and has extra space to transfer family members. So it's going to be, it's beautiful, and you need to go down and see it, but it just got in today. Public Safety Fair will be Monday, August 25th from 6 to 8:30 at Pavilion 5. This is a chance for residents to talk with the police and fire, emergency personnel, and enjoy demonstrations like the medical landing of the helicopter and vehicle fire simulations. Also, tickets, you all know tickets went on sale, Pam, you know, because you're on that board. Did you know that it was 50%? I think it's more like almost 70% now sold out. Sold, that's in a matter of 3 days. So that'll be for the opening, which is, we don't have that down here, but it's what, September 26th, is that correct, Erica? Where are you? There you are. September 26th, Friday? Yes. Okay, thanks. September 26th. And it's kind of cool because we're just seeing interest build and build and build. And Pam, you've got to see this just go from old to beautiful. So we're excited that you've been able to be there. And anything, I'll talk a little bit, but anything to add to that? Well, I mean, you're the one that's there all the time. So how's it?
It's overwhelming that we see from the ticket sales, the response from the citizens or citizens outside of Murray. It's really exciting, and it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous.
So you see it today? Were you in there today?
We are going to go see it. The board is going to go see it after we get back from
I know
our
the
conference.
concession stands in.
Yeah.
And
Jennifer and Patty went and saw it, and they said it was absolutely gorgeous. It's just really pretty, and yeah.
we're excited.
I know some people that worked there when they were 15 years old, and they would pop the popcorn upstairs and bring it down, and so I'm very excited for them to see this, and those that have contributed money for this, I'm excited for them to see it. I'm excited for the evenings and all the work that Katie Lindquist has gone through and the board. There's just not enough words. I'm just very excited, but thank you, Mayor, for
Thanks.
the opportunity to bring this back to the city.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought up. I had a resident ask if we had raised any money, and I said, well, they thought we got nothing, and we got $4 million from TRCC, and then over $100,000 from a resident and several other residents too, but that they won't allow us to say their names, so.
And also the chairs.
And the chairs, I'll bring that up. Thank you,
Okay.
Pam. Thank you. No, I appreciate that. So anyway, so it's a remarkable theater, and it's gonna be awesome. So we expect a full house. Anyone planning to attend, you better get your tickets now. Also tied to the theater's reopening is the launch, as Pam just said, about the chair campaign. And what that is starting this Friday at 10 a.m., just like you're purchasing tickets through the site, Murray City website, and then there'll be right at the first part of the website says about the theater. You'll click on it, and then it takes you in there. And like I said, it'll be the same place that you purchase your tickets to, and you'll be able to you'll be able to donate, so you have your name on the chair itself. And so, like, say the Hales family or the Cotter family or whatever. And so, and I think they start at $100 and then go up. But they'll go fast. So that's this Friday at 10 a.m. For that chair campaign. So if you're interested in that, you should get on that the second that comes out. So, anyway, I think that's it. So our projects are moving forth, and we're hoping in the next few weeks that theater will be completely done. So it's just it's going through the inspection right now, final inspections. And so we're looking forward to hosting Lauren Allred, and it's going to be a great event with her being from Murray. And if anybody doesn't know, she's the one that sang the Never Enough from The Greatest Showman. So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, we are adjourned. Ooh, hit that a little hard. That was just a finger.